Hey everybody, welcome back to Big Buck Shuck, the place that's helping you become a better and more successful deer hunter. In today's episode, I want to talk to you guys about what I think is the 4 different stages of being a deer hunter, possibly many other types of hunters as well, but specifically deer hunting for our channel. I got my redneck whiteboard up here, so I've got more painter's tape than whiteboards, so this is what I got for you guys. I just wanted to go through what I think are the 4 stages and how, depending on what stage you're in, can impact your success out in the woods when it comes to hunting and killing deer. So this video is not saying that any one of these is right or wrong. I'm not casting any judgment on anybody depending on whatever stage you're in. This is simply a video that's here to help you. If you're in one category, this is to help you do the things that you need to do that have to do with being in that category, if that makes sense. You know, a dabbler is not going to do the things that a year-round deer hunter would do, and vice versa. So this is not a video. This isn't saying that any of them is right or wrong. I'm not trying to start any fights. I'm not saying anything about that kind of stuff. So this is simply educational to help you wherever you're at in the journey. So start off, we got the dabbler. This is a beginner novice hunter. Usually goes to deer camp, you know, to be the cook, or might go out with a buddy here and there. They hunt very little. There's little to no investment as far as gear, knowledge, tactics, all that stuff. They don't really spend a lot of time, you know, getting into it, so to speak. So there's little interest if you run into a dabbler at a party or at a restaurant, something like that. You go out to eat or something and want to talk about deer hunting. You know, if you're one of the other categories, the dabbler's probably not going to be interested in talking about it very much. You know, that they'd probably rather talk about something else. So, which is right, wrong, or indifferent. Doesn't matter. They do best hunting preset stands with guidance from any of these guys. So when the dabbler is in deer camp, he's going to be, if he does go out, he's probably going to go out to a box blind or a tree stand that's already set up. You know, there's no scouting. He's probably not going to do much scouting or setting anything up. He's probably just going to be there, you know, as company for the most part. So they borrow most of the time. They're going to borrow equipment from people, whether it be a gun, a bow, stand, pop up, clothes even. I mean, you know, the dabbler's just kind of one of them guys that's got interest in other areas of life, and hunting is, you know, he might have a buddy or two that hunts a lot or more than he does or she does, and it's just another way for the dabbler to hang out with those people more. So next we've got the weekend warrior. Weekend warriors, as the name implies, they hunt mostly weekends. They've intermediate basic skills, you know, enough to go out and kill a deer. They don't really spend a lot of time though learning and studying and scouting and all that stuff and practicing. There's little to average investment in their equipment and their knowledge. You know, they might read a deer and deer hunting magazine here or there, or they might talk about hunting with a buddy, you know, once in a while, but for the most part, they've got other interests that they're doing. So they're somewhat interested. They do best hunting their own property and or presets on public land. So they might, you know, go out in September, right before season, go out, set their stands up, cut their shooting lanes, get everything ready, so that when they do go to hunt on the weekends, that's done. But they're kind of a last minute kind of person. They, you know, a lot of times they're going to be hunting over bait if baiting's legal, and probably even if it's not. And that's kind of, these two kind of can overlap. A lot of these can overlap depending on where they're at. These two overlap a lot as these and these, but these two are going to be hunting over bait a lot of the time. And you know, these are the guys you see that go out with the truckload of heaped full of sugar beets or bags full of carrots and corn and apples and all that stuff. So, but the Weekend Warriors got basic equipment. You know, they might have bought a bow at a garage sale or got a hand-me-down from their uncle or a cousin or whatever. They've probably bought, you know, the cheapest camo that they could afford. Same thing with the rest of the equipment. You know, Walmart, Allen broadheads, stuff like that. You know, basic stuff to get them out in the woods. But so that's them guys. The average Joe, or above average Joe. Like I said, some of these are kind of a spectrum a little bit, but the average Joe or above average Joe, they have advanced skills. They hunt throughout the season. You know, they're the guy that starts thinking about it in September, and they hunt opening day all the way through to the end of the last day, or you know, somewhere in between that range. They might shoot, research, or prepare in the off season, but most likely they may not. I mean, they might shoot sporadically. They might see what the Dan Infalls or John Eberhards or, you know, some of them guys are doing throughout the year, but they really kind of wishy-washy about the off season. They're busy doing other things. They're golfing. They're paying attention to football and other things. So they have average to more advanced investment as far as equipment goes. You know, they've got the better bows and the better. They might have bought a ScentLok suit or maybe even a saddle or a lone wolf stand or a beef stand, something like that. So they do have in their skills. They probably study, you know, topo maps and Onyx. They probably have Onyx on their phone. So that they're more into it than these two, and they usually have pretty good equipment. They usually do well during the season on both public and private. These guys probably most likely either have all their public land spots picked out, scouted, leases. They might pay to have a lease so that they can have their own property to hunt. And if they have their own property, they have their setups. I mean, they've got their box blinds, their tree stands, stuff like that. So then we've got the year-round deer hunter. This is, I don't want to use the words elite, expert, or pro, but that's kind of the level of the year-round guy. Because, I mean, you really can't put a definitive title on a pro or an expert hunter. I mean, you know, your successes kind of speak for themselves in that aspect, but that's just to give you an idea. That's these guys, you know, that they hunt every chance they get. They're after work, they're before work, they're weekends. I mean, it doesn't matter. They're in the woods every chance they get. They may like football, but they don't give a damn about it when it comes to October through December, or September to February, depending on whatever state they're in. These guys probably go to other states. They spend the big money on trips, and generally these guys hunt bigger, more mature bucks. They're generally either trophy or mature buck hunters, versus these guys are really Brownets down. You know, these guys kind of Brownets down. They might shoot the spike or the 4-point. You know, these guys may pass up a 1.5 or 2-year-old, but they're probably shooting one. These guys are mature bucks. That's their focus usually, unless they need a deer, a doe or something for meat for the freezer. But these guys are always doing something deer related. They think about it every day, something about deer every single day. Deer season never ends for these guys. They are 365 deer season, you know, in their minds. They're obviously, when hunting season is here, they're hunting, but after season, they're already scouting for next season. They're preparing new stand locations, planting food plots in the spring, habitat improvement if they have their own land, constantly on Onyx scouting, you know, topo map studying, all that stuff. So fall food plots, you know, they are all in. They live and breathe the deer hunting, and in their minds, is there anything else? So they are fully invested in every aspect of it. They could talk about it for hours. If you run into a year-round deer hunter at a party or a rest to go out to eat and start talking about hunting, that's probably what you're going to be talking about, as long as you or the other person can stand talking about hunting. They're not limited to just a single topic on it. They're talking about, you know, buck to doe ratios, and you know, shot placements, and like every topic that you can think of when it comes to deer hunting. These guys are talking about it. They usually have top-notch equipment, and if they don't have top-notch equipment, they've got equipment that they like, know, and trust, that has been successful for them in the past. They really have a system for most of the things that they do when it comes to hunting, whether it be scent control or not. Shooting, you know, they have their draw sequence, their breathing, all that stuff down. They've got systems for how they scout, where to put their stands. They've got all that stuff just pretty dialed in. I mean, that's, like I said, that's what they do. That's what they love to do year round. They'll hunt anywhere and everywhere. They have public spots, private spots. You know, they don't really have a specific. They'll go anywhere. They'll cross the swamp in waist deep muck to get to that island. They will do whatever it takes to kill that big buck. So, and what I really want for you guys out of this video, like I said, this is just this came out of my head. I didn't really know, this is what made sense to me. I didn't really know what else to call these guys, but for this video, the purpose of this video is to help you guys see where you're at. Because like I said, you're not going to be a dabbler and do what an average Joe does, or have what he has, and you're not going to be a year-round hunter and do the things that a weekend warrior would, because your success rate is going to be dependent on what you have invested as far as knowledge and your skills and your equipment and the effort you put into it. You know, if say you're a weekend warrior and you want to kill a big buck, but you're just as happy to kill a nice doe for the freezer, but your ultimate goal would be to kill mature deer, you have to level up, basically. You know, you have to get further advanced to do that. You can't just go out 3 days before opening a rifle season, throw out a pile of sugar beets, and then sit over top of that and expect a giant to walk in. You know, so if you want to do, it depends on your goals, but if your goal is to shoot bigger and more mature deer, you really have to see where you're at on this spectrum of things, and either accept what the success that you're going to have based on where you're at, or do what you need to do to advance and get better, and that will put you in a better position to kill that big buck. So like I said, none of this isn't like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be a dabbler because they're boring and they're not deer hunters. You know, they are, but they're really not it's not their thing. They're more interested in football or I don't know, hot rods or whatever it is, and that's totally fine. But what I'm trying to help you guys decide is that, you know, if you're just seeing does and fawns because you're hunting over a bait pile and you want to kill bigger deer, you got to go up in the spectrum of things. If you're like an average Joe or above average Joe, where you hunt like a madman all season long, and then as soon as, I'm just going to use Michigan for example, because our season's October 1st to January 1st. So if you hunt like a madman from October 1 to January 1, and then after that you're right on to snowmobiling or hockey or whatever it is, you know, and deer season, deer hunting's over, you're done thinking about it, you put your bow away, you might oil your gun up, put it in the safe for the year, and never touch any of it until the following September, or maybe throughout the summer, possibly. But if you're going to do that, you got to accept the fact that you're not going to be as successful as this guy. So really, it just depends on what you're willing to put into it. And, you know, if you're not comfortable where you're at as far as your success rate, you know, if you're just always shooting 4 points and you're always seeing does and fawns, you know, you might have to change something up, do something different. Get around guys that you see that are successful, you know, or even watch the YouTube videos, watch, do the things, invest, like here, right here, more investment. If you invest more into that knowledge, skill, equipment, you know, you're gonna have better success as a general rule. I mean, obviously there's a lot of things that play into it. You can't just buy the newest, fanciest gadget and go out and kill a big one, but the more you immerse yourself around that next level of hunter, the better you will be. It's just like if you hang out with 10 poor people, you're gonna be poor, more likely, or if, you know, rich, whatever. If you hang out with a bunch of alcoholics, you're probably gonna head down that road. You hang around good people, you know, you're generally gonna be a good person. So, you know, your vibe attracts your tribe. Your who you are. People will either love you or hate you for whatever, you know, your attributes and qualities are. So if you can get around some people that have those qualities and attributes, then you'll probably level up, because you'll be around that environment. You'll be thinking differently. You'll see something different. You might try something new. You know, if you're out on private land and you're you're constantly going to that same permanent fixed built, you know, 2x4 tree stand, and you're always seeing the same deer, or you never shoot the big one or a big one, you might change things up. That public piece that's 2 miles down the road may be a much better property for you, but you're stuck in the weekend warrior mentality, or the dabbler, where, meh, it's fine, I'll just accept this, but I really do want that. So you got to take the initiative to step it up if that's what your goal is. And otherwise, you know, just if you're good being wherever you're at, that's fine. Stay there. Just know in your head and accept that if you're one of these two, your freezer probably will be full, which is a good thing. Which, you know, that's part of the reason I hunt too. But you may not kill as big of a buck as this guy or this guy. So, yeah. Anyway, I hope that helps. I hope you guys see the value of seeing where you're at, and either adjusting or accepting where you're at, and adjusting to get better, or staying there, you know, comfortable where you're at. So really, again, a big thing that I really want you guys to do, if you do want to level up in your hunting, whatever compartment here that you're in, get around those people that are doing better than you, or that can help you. Find a mentor or a couple, and you know, they'll teach you the things that you need to know to get better as a hunter. And so with that, I hope you guys got value out of this. Let me know in the comments where do you guys fall? Which hunter are you, and which one do you want to be? You comfortable where you're at? You want to be this guy? You want to be the all-star? You okay being the dabbler? Tell me in the comments which one you guys are, and give me some feedback on what you think. So like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and thanks again for tuning into Big Buck Shuck. We'll see you guys in the next video.